Hi everyone, so today I'd like to talk about Bill 21. So the bill states that the secularism of the state is based on four principles: the separation of the state and religions, the religious neutrality of the state, the equality of all citizens, and the freedom of conscience and religion. So the separation of the state and religions is obviously necessary to prevent religions from having too much influence in governments and to prevent or at least reduce the bad influence of some religious beliefs or practices. So when it comes to the religious neutrality of the state, this is where I have a big problem. It is not acceptable because religions are not equal and do not deserve to be treated equally. If we had to be neutral towards religions, we will have to be neutral towards some terrible religious practices. For example, in the Old Testament, God commands to put homosexuals to death, which is completely unacceptable. There's also other horrible practices in the Old Testament and in other religions. Also, anyone can create their own religion and include any kind of practice in it. The equality of all citizens is not something that I personally see the importance of mentioning, but I can understand what they mean by that. It's just that we are not all equal. In reality, no one is completely equal to someone else. So it's not exactly the way that I tend to express myself. It's not a term that I tend to use, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Freedom of conscience is religion. So when it comes to freedom of conscience, this is not what you think that it is. It is important to mention that no one is free to choose their beliefs and their desires and preferences for that matter. So, of course, this is not how people see it. When we talk about freedom of thought or beliefs, they definitely think that we have the power to choose our beliefs, but it's definitely impossible. So when it comes to freedom of religion, like I said, some religious practices are extremely dangerous. If we had to give an absolute religious freedom, we will have to not stop religious people from practicing some terrible things. Which is actually, in a way, what is currently going on. There are some practices that are not stopped by the government, and it's terrible. People should not be allowed to practice everything. The law also prohibits the wearing of religious symbols by teachers, judges, police officers, prosecutors, civil servants, and correctional officers in the course of their duties. So obviously this causes some problems right now because some people that are interested in, joining some of those professions may not be able to do so. Or they could also lose their jobs in some cases. Though the wearing of those symbols in those situations shouldn't exist in the future. Even right now, personally, I don't see all of those professions equally when it comes to that. Sometimes I feel a little bit better. For example, when I see a teacher wearing an hijab compared to other professions. Even if I don't want it, I don't think that it should exist. It is possible that temporarily, for pragmatical reasons, maybe it could be preferable to make some exceptions. I'm just saying. It's a possibility. But, and I can understand people that from their perspective, this must be terrible for them, that they could not be able to become something because of that, or if they lose their jobs. But they have to understand that it's not something that they should do. Unfortunately, because they believe in their religions, they do that. So if they didn't believe in those religions, they definitely wouldn't have a problem with that. But actually, even a lot of people that are religious don't necessarily have a problem with that. Unfortunately, the bill can lead to unreasonable forms of discrimination, such as insults to women who wear the hijab or worse. Is Bill 21 racist? Because a lot of people, as you may very well know, have accused it to be racist. And the answer is no. Because if you think that it discriminates in some way against some religious people, like Muslims, for example, it does not deserve to be called racist, because being a Muslim is not a race nor an ethnicity, but an adherence to a religion. There is at least one amendment to the Charter of Human Rights and Freedoms to add that fundamental rights and freedoms must be exercised within the secularism of the state. But it's not enough. I think that it shall also add that if a religious practice is considered a crime under the laws of the country, it must continue to be treated as such. There shall be no exceptions because the practice in question is a part of a religion. That will be completely unacceptable. Although Bill 21 should be modified to be a little bit more precise, it's okay if it is accepted right now. Because there are already many laws that exist that are not strictly followed anyway. Some changes can be made in the future. The court challenge of Bill 21 ended last month. I hope that the bill won't be rejected. But whatever the decision, it will be appealed. And will probably end up in the Supreme Court of Canada later on. If it is rejected, it will be a failure on the part of the judges, who have their own interpretations of the law without sufficient knowledge of religions. The judge shall give his decision in the coming months, and it will be very important for Quebec. That's when we will know if we are able to apply a law that currently goes against the rest of Canada. This will have a major impact for our future. I think that the majority of Quebecers support Bill 21 and that judges should respect the will of the people in this situation. So thanks for watching, and see you in another video.